No more time to waste on players who are not showing up. No more jokes, as my namesake Dan Ashworth is in the house. Now, a new update suggests Ashworth, the new sporting director of Manchester United, has come up with a list of 7 players he wants to let go of and be able to put together from their sale a combined £200 million. Welcome to the United Road Sport. My name is Webb. We are going to look at that list in a bit. I do remind you to share, subscribe, and of course, like this video and drop a comment as well. Well, someone dropped an interesting comment about our light situation. Guys, we are working on it. Of course, we are doing a lot of things, by the way, behind the scenes. Of course, good things take time, but we are working on some stuff. But I'm sure I think you can see me now. I think I've tried to figure out the light situation. But let's get proper into the real talk. So Dan Ashworth is in the house, and already he seems to be, first of all, excited by the idea of Man United signing Mathis Delete. He seemed to have wanted him when he was still at Newcastle United. He wanted to get him for Newcastle United. Somehow he couldn't, so it has probably been a dream for him to be sporting director of a club that has Mathis Delete as a player. And indeed, his dream is about to happen, to come true, because Man United is in the lead in terms of signing, trying to sign Mathis Delete, as it is, I think, known now clearly that the player just wants to talk to Manchester United alone. But let's talk more about the players that are said to be on their way out after the arrival of Dan Ashworth. Ashworth. The list is right there, and you can see, of course, sadly, the last name on the list there is not one that will make me so happy seeing it there in Mason Greenwood. But what we know, reports are coming out to say that Man United are trying to ensure that they let go, they sell Greenwood and Jadon Sancho by the end of next week. Yes, with Dan Ashworth in, one of them been given these guys is to be able to sell Jadon Sancho and Mason Greenwood at least by the end of next week. Apparently, according to reports that are coming in, especially Jadon Sancho. With Greenwood, I'm still low-key feeling like there could be a delaying tactic by Manchester United to deliberately fail to find a buyer and be able to keep him in the squad, bring him back in preseason, monitor him, and then try to reintegrate him back into the squad. If anything, the women team, which they were worried about, is growing increasingly frustrated. By the way, which is not good. It's not like we should be happy about the frustration of the women team. But they are going to be taken to the suburb of Charlton St George's Park to train there. Apparently, that's where they plan to take them to train for some time. As the senior team moves to their pitch, there seems not to be a clear plan by Ineos when it comes to the women team. They are just focused on the men's first team. So as they refurbish, they work on the men's training facility and what the men's team is going to move to the women's team pitch, and then the women's team will be pushed elsewhere at a nearby St. George's Park. Of course, some will feel like now they're being encroached on and stuff. They feel less important, but the reality is Ineos's job, at least first, is to make sure that the senior team gets back to performing at the topmost level. Then all the other teams will come into play. And that's what I believe, and I don't think it's a questionable approach to how to handle such a situation. But uh, going back to the Dan Ashworth and the list of players who have been named that he wants to let go of. Apparently, Victor Lindelof, I think that one we've known that he's wanted by Fenerbahce to go and reunite with Jose Mourinho. Harry Maguire as well is also on the list that Ashworth is being told to deal with, to sell, so that they get some money off. Then Casemiro, Christian Eriksen, and Anthony. I love the fact that the name of Anthony is coming up now because we've been silent for so long about him. And you wonder whether people are now convinced that Anthony is indeed a good player to be staying at Man United. But I think for me, it's a good thing that at least now we are hearing of talks of him being being sold. So those are the 7 players who it seems Ashworth feels should go first from Man United. But if you look at all these players, Victor Lindelof might go for, he's 29, not been playing a lot of football. Probably Lindelof can bring us about about 6 million pounds. That's what I believe we can get from Lindelof. Okay, let me be generous. Let me say tops 10 million pounds tops. Harry Maguire, we can get about realistically about 30 to 35 million pounds for Harry Maguire. So that would be, let's go 35, okay, because we turned down 30 from West Ham. So let's go 35. And he's wanted by clubs in Italy. I think even Premier League clubs will want him. They are just waiting to know about his fitness. So Maguire 35, Lindelof, let's say 10, that's 45. Casemiro should be at least 50 million, honestly. I think we should be able, because he's going to Saudi, these Saudi clubs should have money. 50 million, oh, okay, 40 at the very worst. 40 million pounds for Casemiro. So 35 plus 10, 45 plus 40 is 85. Eriksen, we got him for free, really. I mean, anything will do. That one is negligible. Anthony, who can buy Anthony? I think that's where the heading will come for him. We have 85 already. Let me first skip Anthony because he's difficult to quantify, really. You can go down in the comment section and let me know how much you think we can get from Anthony. Jadon Sancho, I think we can get 40 million is what United wants. So that's 120 million. Mason Greenwood, United want 40 million pounds. I think he's more than that. But, well, let's say they get the 40 they want, they're holding out for. So 120 plus 125 actually, plus 40 is 165. Then Anthony, the balance can be Anthony. Let's say Anthony bought Anthony for 85 million, flop of all flops. He has played a few seasons, negligible ones. We can get it. We can sell him at he's 23 because he's young. We can sell him at let's say 30 million. So that would be about 195. So close to 200 million pounds is what we can get if we add on a few pounds for Christian Eriksen. But yeah, so that's what Dan Ashworth has been told to do. Now remember, on this list there is no Scott McTominay. Who is wanted? The reason he's there is because McTominay has got a club interest, several clubs interested in him. Uh, Fulham are interested in him. In fact, they are leading the rest to try and sign him. They're expected to bid for him soon. Remember, we turned down an offer from West Ham in the last summer, 30 million as well. Same offer they had brought for Harry Maguire. But this time around, I think Scott should move. That should be the best thing for his career. So 30 million is okay, 30, 35. So Scott McTominay is another one. Not on this list that we've seen, but Scott is a sellable. So Scott is also wanted by Newcastle, and West Ham United still are interested. So it's obvious that we can't fail to find a buyer for Scott. I think of all these players, Casemiro, Harry Maguire, Lindelof, Sancho, and Scott McTominay. Those five are players who we should be able to sell. I think those should be the easier ones to sell. Casemiro is already going. Harry Maguire, when he's declared fit, he should go. We can't fail to find a buyer. Lindelof will go to Fenerbahce. I have no doubt about that. Uh, Scott McTominay, we can't fail to find a buyer. Sancho might be a bit difficult because of his. There are disquiets. He's expensive. You know, unless we are selling him to Saudi. But clubs around Europe might have disquiets signing him because he's expensive. He's expensive in terms of how much you buy him, but also his wage is quite high. So we've got, and again on this list there is no Aaron Wan-Bissaka on the list, who we think is also another player who should be surplus to requirements. So we realize that Ashworth has a lot of work to do, and this is why Ineos brought in Christopher Vivo to support Ashworth and Jason Wilcox in trying not only to bring in players, but the more difficult bit I think is to sell players, especially if you're one club that has so many players you want to let go of. It is never going to be easy for you to do it. That's always going to be difficult business to do. So this is exactly why Ineos broke the bank to constitute a team of many to try and get rid of these rotten eggs or rotten tomatoes so that they don't spoil the rest. That's where we are. So give me your opinion. Honestly, I think a player like Scott McTominay, if he goes to a team like Fulham, he should be the captain. Goes to Newcastle, he should be a leader in there because his levels should be. I mean, having been nurtured and trained by all these managers at Man United, his standard should be way too high. His mentality, and we have no reservations about his mentality. Goes to West Ham, proper potential captain. So I think for some of these players, the best thing for them is to move. Lindelof, same thing. Goes to Fenerbahce. Lindelof, I mean, having trained at Man United for all those years, your levels are high. You're setting the standard for the rest of the squad. What better way to end your career? You're 29. From there, he just silently goes to Saudi and makes more money. Harry Maguire, any club he goes to in the Premier League, he will be a player, a starter. Maguire will even be captain of whichever club he goes to. Even if he went to Arsenal, Maguire could be captain of Arsenal. Yes, Maguire is good enough. When he's fit, we know what he's capable of. In fact, there are many of us who feel like maybe he should stay a little bit and stuff. Then Casemiro, of course, is now in the evening of his career. We are going to Saudi. Christian Eriksen, put him in any of these teams. West Ham, Everton. He should play him as a 10. He still has football in him. We saw that in the Euros already with Denmark. Antony is 23. You never completely write off a young player. Maybe go to take him to a club with less pressure, he will turn up. Jadon Sancho, man, he's a Champions League finalist. At Borussia Dortmund, we saw what he was turning into. Take him there, any club, even Arsenal, who are linked with him, goes there, cool head, he will play football because we know the talent he's got. The issue is his mentality. Mason Greenwood should be staying at Manchester United. My name is Webb. This is the United of Sport. Subscribe, like, and share. I'll catch you later, fam.